Hi everyone. Today I'm here with Alicia Herbert. Alicia, can you give us a little introduction and a bit of your background, please?
Sure. I'm Alicia. I live in Matakana, about 50 minutes north of Auckland. I study fashion design and have gone on to work for companies like Barker's, Karen Walker, and The Warehouse. Yeah.
Cool. And what degree did you have when you before you started working?
So I went to AUT and I studied a Bachelor of Design, majoring in fashion. Um, yeah, so I did the apparel focus.
Okay. And what other focuses can you have if you didn't do apparel?
Yeah, so you could focus on knitwear, costume design, and then there was quite a few electives like marketing, business, and photography. So there was a few different bits you could kind of add in as well.
And was
I did,
your sorry,
um,
sorry.
I also, yeah, I did the business addition to the degree.
And was your aspiration when you went into this degree, when you were at high school, that you wanted to be a fashion designer?
No, I actually wanted to be a buyer. I had a friend whose grandparents owned a clothing brand, and I saw what they did, and I really just I hung out there every holidays and in the warehouse, and that was just something I wanted to do. I was always quite targeted on what I wanted, and it was definitely to be more in that buying role, not so much the design and pattern making.
Yeah. What advice would you give for students who are interested in going into this field, into fashion?
I think you definitely need to kind of build your network and look at doing volunteering and things like that. I volunteered at every fashion week throughout university. I did an internship at Barker's. That was part of my degree, but you only needed to do 40 hours. But I worked there for like 3 months. It was just anything I could do to kind of get that experience and meet people in the industry.
Hmm.
I found that really helpful because once you leave, you really it's all about who you kind of know and how you can land that job once you're out.
Yeah. And so you've worked for a few different people, but you've also run some of your own businesses. Can you
Mhm.
explain a little bit about the businesses that you've run?
Yeah, so I did a gift box business through COVID. So that was all locally sourced products, and that was specializing in gift boxes for new mums. So that was something I saw a little gap there with baby showers being sort of shut down. It was something that I could send out to people. And so I did that for a couple of years. That really taught me a lot about Shopify e-commerce and how to source products. It was something a little bit different to fashion, what I'd been doing, but similar kind of idea. And then I started a maternity brand called Dear Mama. So that was mostly focusing on sleepwear and lingerie, and started with the idea of just creating a really nice robe that you could take to the hospital. But my idea quickly grew into bras and pajamas and accessories and all sorts. So I would go to baby shows and I also wholesaled the range and sold it direct to customer.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I did that for a couple of years as well.
And were those products like made in New Zealand as well, or were you importing from overseas? Because
So
made
I
in New
designed,
Zealand stuff's quite expensive, isn't it?
yes. So initially my idea with the robe was to just make the robes locally. But once I sort of started and I started sourcing, I wanted to make them from linen and things like that. So I did end up sourcing them overseas, and that was something I was quite comfortable with in my previous roles. So I I got three factories to well, firstly I created the spec sheet of how I wanted it to look. I got three factories to cost it. I figured out who I wanted to work with, and then I got them to create the samples, and then I went on to do fit testing, wearer trials, and um, yeah, got a focus group together, got women to try them on and really understand what they needed, and then yeah, went from there, and it was a lot of sort of the way that production had changed from the time that I was working in the industry to doing my own label. a lot had moved to video calls and approving fabrics and buttons and trims and everything from video. So it was quite it was quite simple to kind of get things moving quickly without waiting for weeks to get your things down here and then send them back up, etc. So
Mm.
um, it moved reasonably quickly in terms of the development process. And then, yeah, my stock arrived. I did all the marketing myself. I did a photo shoot. Um, and then, yeah, set up my Shopify and went live. So just, yeah,
That's
it's,
really cool. It like I know that it's a lot of work, but it actually sounds so achievable. Like you could do that,
yeah.
you know, if you've got those connections overseas and in those factories. I mean, I'm sure there's even lists of them on the websites where you could just pick
Mm.
different people or find out from other people. Um, yeah, you make you make it sound really achievable.
Yeah, I guess I did have 10 years of production experience, so it makes it sound simple, but yeah, it was sort of like knowing what what to put in that spec sheet to kind of mitigate any risk. So yeah, after many, production mishaps or samples coming down and this can go wrong, this can go wrong. That was the sort of thing I was really making sure in my tech pack that I
Mm.
covered everything. And then yeah, I mean the changes with Canva and programs like that, you can really do a lot yourself, which is great. Yeah, it does it does sound easy, but I mean it definitely was blood, sweat, and tears
Yeah, I'm
to
sure it
get.
required a lot of great communication skills for a start.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I kept it pretty small for the first drop, and then so then and just kind of added to it and tried to make the range quite seasonless so that it wasn't going to be in and out, and I could just build on it and add styles. So I was trying to be quite strategic about how I designed the range.
Yeah. And so you're not currently working in that um, label at the moment, but you do have a new job at Producto. Can you explain to us what that role is?
Yeah, so I'm creative lead at Producto. So Producto is a merchandise and apparel agency. Um, about a year ago, they were bought by the BMC Group, which is Barkers and Max.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's sort of leveraging off the supply chain from Barkers and Max, which is amazing because they have such quality, like a source quality supply chain.
Mm.
Um, so we do a lot of uniforms for corporate companies, merchandise for sort of brands like Spates or Lime Breweries. Yeah, so a lot of different projects. And I came on board as sort of the trend and forecasting kind of link. So yeah, basically looking on trend and forecasting websites, using travel and like looking online at different retailers, and then basically pulling together what are the key trends for the season and then what is relevant to each of these clients. So then we will from there I then create the ranges, like and the designers will then pull it together, the production team will create it, and then we'll deliver the product. So I'm right at the beginning where it's sort of like we've got an idea, and then the rest of the team kind of pulls it all together.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's sort of what we do.
Sounds really fun, actually. It sounds cool, like lots of different projects and lots of different things that you're looking at, and then you've obviously got your clients and your stakeholders that you're trying to find information for. But fashion is so glamorous, and it sounds so cool to be, looking for trends and forecasting what's going to happen and fitting that into your client and your stakeholder, which is
Mhm.
it sounds really cool. What piece of advice would you give to any students that want to leave? What's the key skills that you think they need to have?
I think in terms of like subjects or what you should sort of lean into. I think with the sort of change in technology, having that kind of digital interest or digital base would be quite handy. Also, the financial or accounting kind of base, because that's something that if you get into a role in terms of buying, production, there's lots of work around costings and like working out, yeah, how much something costs to make and how
Mm.
much money you're going to make. And yeah, engineering a product to a price, there's quite a lot of work around that. So I think sort of having a really good understanding of the financials is quite helpful. Um, and then yeah, that marketing piece or media piece, like it's sort of it's everything now. It's not just garment design. It's everything. So to kind of like I guess have a bit of an interest in all those areas as well as your fundamental of your
Yeah.
fashion design, your technology subjects.
And
Mm.
I will say one last thing because this is one that comes up a lot with people is how are you finding AI in your area of work?
Oh, it's been amazing. I mean, the visual AI tool, we use ChatGPT to do a lot of mock-ups now, and sometimes it's not perfect, but it creates ideas. And yeah, it has really changed the game. I think, and it really enables design as well. It's sort of um, yeah, it's a funny one. I don't see it as sort of taking away anything. I see it as enhancing and speeding us up. So we use it a lot for idea generation, but it's an actual mock-up idea, and that helps you to communicate to your designers how something could look instead of trying to explain it. I feel like it just gets us there quicker.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, cool. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time, Alicia. Appreciate it. You've given us heaps of really interesting information, actually, that sort of different sides of the fashion industry and business that you might not think about when you're sort of 16 and you think fashion's pretty cool. So, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Cool, thank you.